Like to eat? Do you like common sense with your food? Then join Mark Brett-Warburton in his kitchen on Mirador. You get good servings of both.
Hi, this is Mark Brett-Warburton coming to you from Guildford in Surrey. There was a peculiar political occurrence in Guildford last week. The ruling Liberal Democrat Party governing the Borough Council decided to share power with the independent group R4GV, which stands for Residents for Guildford and the Villages. It raised a few eyebrows because people are not used to the idea of power sharing, collaboration occurring at a local political level. Certainly not in this way. It was something quite rare. First of all, for those of you that are not from the local area, I know we have some international viewers. I'll give you a quick idea of how politics functions in the UK. At the very lowest level, we have parish councils, which are ostensibly apolitical. Then we have borough and district councils, which approximately represent 100,000 people, give or take. It changes depending on the area. After that, we have the county level. In this area, this is Surrey County Council that oversees this area, and they are looking after approximately 1.1 million people, maybe slightly more. And then after that, you have the national level of MPs meeting at Parliament, representing well over 60 million. We're looking at the Borough Council level, so roughly affecting about 110,000 people. In Guildford, the residents are represented by 48 councillors, 17 Liberal Democrats, 16 R4GVs, which is Residents for Guildford and the Villages, then 8 Conservatives, and the rest are made up of other independent groups and Labour Party. The interesting thing is, a while back I'd heard that there was even talk about including the Conservative group in this new arrangement to try and create a much broader rainbow alliance, as it were, of different political ideals. But the interesting thing is they weren't included this time round. And what we've got to ask ourselves is, when we're looking at local politics, is it appropriate to have party political representation, or should we be trying to create a much more diverse representation for people that are going to be determining the local effect on us, very much immediate effect on individuals? This is not the national level of strategic politics. This is the level where the services directly affect you on your street, outside your door. Is it appropriate to have national politics involved, or should it be wholly run by independent councillors? Should we have 48 totally independent councillors with no political alliance at all? There are pros and cons for both arguments. For the political groups, it's easier to pull together a direction for people behind a political group. They know what they're looking at from a much wider perspective. When you're dealing with a national political group, you have a rough idea of what their ideals are, and you'll be hoping that the administration formed by them will be taking you forward in a direction which would reflect the ideals of that political party. The downside is just that. It is tying local representation to national objectives. So it overlooks the importance of certain local issues, which is where the strength of independent councillors comes in. They can represent directly local issues and probably have a very good idea of very specific items and issues and social needs that can then be actioned at council. The downside is that you're very much held in the issue of personality. You're dealing with individuals, and whether you'll be able to bring together a band of 48 people to create a coherent direction to a council, or whether it would become too fragmented to give a satisfactory form, for want of a better word, to the council. What do you think? If you think that it should be wholly represented by individuals, do you think that it should be represented by political parties at the most local level? Or a combination of the two, maybe? Should there be a certain number of independent councillors by nature, crossbenchers, and a certain number of political representation? Should it be solely represented by administrators that then react to a group vote, so that everything has the opportunity of being voted on to give the direction by wider democracy? That has its own benefits and pitfalls as well. Clearly, from a democratic point of view, it's very good to have a pure administration that is then directed by the majority vote of the people. But then the outcome can be distorted by campaigns, it can be distorted by non-strategic objectives. It can also be open to tampering. It also has the bigger problem of grinding to a halt, where you cannot get consensus to move forward in a coherent manner. This is where the strong model of leadership has its benefit. It allows a direction to be formed around a small core of people, and that leads the local community in a particular direction. What do you think? Is there a benefit to independent councillors, or party political, or a totally different structure? If you want to be in touch, my name is Mark Brett-Warburton, coming to you from Guildford in Surrey, and my email address is yourviews@brett-warburton.com. Talk to you soon.